Jack, Dave is a wild guy. I feel like these characters, they're all kind of, I felt like they were stuck in their almost like their own prison life cells, and they just were trying to find a way to express themselves and connect. So, as an actor for you, when you first read the script, did you go on that ride? What did you think? And then what was it like for you to step into the shoes of Dave?
Yeah, well, I think you're totally right about what you say about them all being trapped in their own prison. Like, I think that's totally it. And I felt very, I felt, the script was beautiful and as full and rich and mysterious as the film, and it was so obviously, character led as opposed to kind of plot driven, which is so much more appealing from an acting perspective. So it was a beautiful thing, really, to find my way into Dave. Jan-Ole and I talked a bit about him. I had some instinctive feelings about him, and yeah, but he felt very familiar to me. He's like so many struggling, vulnerable men that I've come across in my life who are desperately trying to be something that they're not, and trying to pretend that everything's okay when it's not. And so he was a very familiar and real and human, complicated portrait for me, and it was like, yeah, it was just it was a delight to try and dig into him.
For you as an actor, do you find comedic improvisation or dramatic improvisation harder? Are they both equally as hard?
That's a very interesting question. I don't know what I find harder. I think improv for so long has been associated with comedy, so there's like in a way it's like they're slightly different beasts. I think dramatic improvisation isn't, I mean, dramatic improvisation isn't really improvisation. It's just, having a three-dimensional life. It's if you've done the work, improvisation isn't really a thing because you're there, you're listening, you know how the character's feeling, you know what they may or may not say, so it's like it's not really a thing. If you're searching for like comedy, then that can is different.
But let's talk about the camels because Sam and Stacy brought up the camels. And I was like, okay, let's go down this ride. You guys have this scene in which the family, Sam's character, takes you guys out to the camel farm, I guess we can call it. Did anything crazy happen with the camels?
No, by and large, they were great. They were, I mean, they are kind of amazing creatures. But as you know, they said they have a kind of presence that's like beyond their real, they have this kind of ponderous, slow thing, which is kind of amazing. But no, I loved that scene out on the camel farm with that. It was a beautiful night, and it was no, they were great. They performed well.
Good cast, co-castmate,
Great, they were well cast, yeah.
well cast. Sam talked about when he first read the script, his biggest fear was learning how to play tennis or just training for tennis. So you had to hit a couple balls yourself in the
Badly,
film.
badly, yeah, yeah.
So did you guys have a face off at all? And did you train at all, or are you just like, I'm just gonna pick it up and see how my forehand is?
Sam and I think we talked about it, but I don't think Sam and I ever actually played when we weren't shooting. He obviously did a lot of work and was brilliant. I had a few lessons here because I kind of had played, but not much. And Dave had to look like he liked it, and he used to play, but was now a bit useless. So that kind of suited me. I could just about get to that standard, but it would have been, I mean, yeah, I didn't have the mountain to climb that Sam did, obviously, to look like an ex-pro.
Did you watch any videos of pros?
Yeah, for sure, I did, and like couldn't get anywhere near them. Obviously, I was like trying to make the shapes they make on the court and failing, but that kind of works for Dave. He fails too, so
Poor Dave.
poor
God, he
Dave.
wanted
I
to
might
have a night
refrain,
at the
actually. Poor
club.
Dave. I said poor Dave a lot.
I know, poor Dave. My final question for you guys is about really the theme of the film, obviously, disconnecting from reality. And that we live in this world that is very driven by social media and the internet. And now everybody's looking at those posts that are like, oh, you could buy a castle in Ireland for $15 and you can escape. So, Jack, for you as an actor and as a human, how do you find yourself disconnecting from reality? Like in terms of, meditation, what do you do in order to disconnect?
Well, I am actually not on social media, which suits me very well, and I kind of never have been. So that helps for sure. But acting is a type of disconnect. As much as it's about connecting, it's also about escape. really, because you're given the chance to, walk through a different door and see a different life and immerse yourself in that. So in a way, that is deeply therapeutic, but it can also be like really problematic because then you have fear of going back to your own life afterwards, which is quite strange. Um, but I don't know how I mean, I'm quite an analog person, really. I'm not like a digital social media driven person by any means. So that in a way it helps. And I think I have less of a problem than other people in that sense. I've never really wanted it in my life, so it kind of makes it easier.
That's extremely healthy. Um,
Well, I don't know if it is, but it works for me, definitely.
since you're not on social media, um, what is your opinion as an actor in terms of AI and its, how it's evolved or devolved society, especially for actors in the industry?
Wow, I mean that's a big old question. I don't know. It kind of depends on who you read, as to how fearful we should be. I am of the mind that people will always have an artistic interest in work made by human beings. I think that's why people want art, really, because it's been made by another human. I think that's the connection, whether it's a painting, a piece of music, or a film or a book. I think we like that it's a human that made it. I think that's our way in. So I think there will always be a slice of the art world and the market that is AI based or created or born from that kind of thing. But I think there will also always be a much more original human contribution, and that is the side of the world that I will be living in and desperately trying to keep hold of.
He chooses humans. Well, thank you so much. But again, congratulations. Really, like, I was just so in the film. And that doesn't happen a lot these days, where like the film ends and you're like, oh, I was not like thinking about anything else. And that
Mm.
really is like a testament to the writing, testament to the directing, and the acting. The casting is just so great. So, congratulations.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.